take a look around the Discovery Hill Garden. What kind of animals might live here? Who could make this place their habitat? Do you have an idea?
Did you think of some things that might live here at Discovery Hill? I have some ideas. So, I hear the birds. Can you hear some birds? I know there are birds here at Discovery Hill. Sometimes when I'm digging in the garden, I see worms, lots of happy earthworms here in the soil, and lots of other bugs too. Butterflies, dragonflies. Who else? Do you have some ideas of what might live here? I know you have some good ideas. Sometimes I even see lizards. Lots of different kinds of lizards that like to live here at Discovery Hill. Even seen a couple of little garden snakes. It's a happy place for a lot of animals. And together I'd like to do an activity with you where we pretend to be a certain animal and we're going to explore Discovery Hill and see if we can find all 4 parts of our habitat to make this place our home, to make this place our habitat as that animal. Okay, so I'm gonna give you a clue now of what kind of animal we will pretend to be. I want you to listen for your clue. And when you think of it, you say it out loud, okay? Are you ready to hear it? Here it comes. Bzzz. Did you say bee? You're right. We're going to be bees, and we're going to explore Discovery Hill as bees and see if we can find all 4 parts of a bee's habitat and see if this can be a home for us. Are you ready to be a bee with me? I put on my bee costume, which is a necklace with a picture of a bee on it, so we can pretend to be bees now. Now that we're bees, let's put on our bee brains and think like a bee. Let's see. If I'm a bee, where do I find food? Do you know where a bee gets their food? What does a bee need for food? I know what you're thinking. You're thinking about honey. And while it's true that sometimes bees will feed honey to their babies, that's not their main food. The main thing they eat is nectar. And where do they find it? Flowers. That's right. Bees get their food from flowers. Now, we'll know that our bee needs flowers for their food and water, right? All bees need to drink water, yes? What about a shelter? The kind of cover where a bee would go for safety. What kind of a house does a bee build for itself? Do you know? It's called a hive, a beehive. That's where bees go for shelter. And inside the beehive also happens to be where they make honey and where they raise their young. So those are the 4 parts of a habitat a bee needs. Let's see if we can find them. Got your thinking like a bee, got your bee brains on, put your wings out like a bee. Could you make a sound like a bee? Bzzz. Let's go. Bzzz. Ooh, here's some nectar for us. We can start here in these flowers. Let's buzz on. Bzzz. Ooh, here's a lot more nectar for us here. Oh yes, bzzz. I think our bee is starting to feel thirsty. Let's keep buzzing and find some water. Oh, perfect. There's a pond. I think if I were a bee, I'd come right along here and sit on that rock, which would give me a nice place to perch while I sip some water. Let's keep buzzing. We found water and plenty of food. What about a place to build our hive? Let's think. I know bees like to build their hives somewhere tall where it can be safe from other animals that might try and get that honey. Do you see somewhere tall around this garden? Are you thinking about that tree? I'm thinking about that tree too. I think this tree would make a fabulous place for us to build our hive. And in the hive, we can be safe, find our shelter there, and raise our babies inside. And of course, we'll be making honey too. Okay, bees, let's think about what we found on our bee adventure in Discovery Hill. Remember, our big question is, would Discovery Hill make a good habitat for bees? So think about what we discovered. First, did we find food here? Yes, plenty of food for bees here. Remember, we get our food from the nectar and the flowers, and we did find a lot of flowers here. Next, we needed to find water. And did we? That's right. We found water in the pond, so now we have food and water here at Discovery Hill for our bees. Next, we needed shelter. Did we find a place where we could make a beehive for our shelter? We sure did. Our tall, tall tree makes a great place to build a beehive for our shelter. So that's 3. And remember, the last one is a place to raise babies. We needed a place to raise our young. And where does that happen for a bee? You remember? You got it, in the beehive. And we know that there is a place here where we can make our beehive. And in our beehive, we can take care of our babies and make the honey. So, let's think about it. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down to our question. Do you think that Discovery Hill makes a good habitat for bees? Yes, I agree with you. I think Discovery Hill makes a fabulous habitat for bees. And we know that because not only did we figure it out ourselves, we have seen lots and lots of happy bees here at Discovery Hill. Every day they're doing their busy work getting nectar from the flowers here. So thank you so much for joining me on our bee adventure, and I hope to have you back again soon.
What will you find when you play outside? Bye!